Hi all, today's lesson is based on isometric drawing at a grade 10 level as well as 11 and 12. Why so? In this case here we're dealing with this angle of 60 degrees. How do we place an angle of 60 degrees into an isometric drawing? Now, what are we given here? Let us read. It's important that we read every question. Before we think that we know exactly what we're doing, we need to read every question. The given thing here is the front view and the top view of a support base is a position of A on the drawing sheet. Now, this will be the top view and that will be the front view. Why so? This is in third angle orthographic projection. Therefore, what we see from the top view is drawn on top, which is why I'm saying this is the top view, and therefore this is the front view. Alright, now we have A on the left hand side of the front view. We have A on the left hand side of the top view. So those are the key things that we need to understand. Now, what is the instruction that is given to us? We are using a scale of 1:1, meaning that we're not converting anything here. Convert the orthographic views of the support base into an isometric drawing. So using these two orthographic views at a scale of 1:1, we must now make an isometric drawing. They're saying we must make A the lowest point of the drawing. There should be no hidden detail in this drawing that is we're going to draw. Now quickly, what is the length here? Is 110 and this is 60. The rib here is 6 millimeters. Okay, the hexagon size here is 30 millimeters. Okay, there is a square inside this which is 22 millimeters, and the thickness of the hexagon here is 30 millimeters. So after we have studied everything that we see here, we've seen all the dimensions. Now let us look at our front view. We have a hexagon here. There's hidden details, meaning that that was a square. Okay, then we have 60 degrees. Of course, we know that when we draw a hexagon, it is a 60-degree angle. Then we are also given here, there's an angle here which is 60 degrees. What is it happening here? They're not giving us that distance. They're not giving us that distance, or they're not giving us that distance there. Therefore, we need to treat this, draw it first as a two-dimensional drawing, which we call an auxiliary view. All right. So for this slot here, these two slots are 4 millimeters. We have this distance is 8. This distance here is 64. Then we have 22 of that square which we saw there on the top view. Then the size of the slot here is 15 millimeters. The thickness there is how much? Is 12 millimeters. So I'm going to start with this base first. Then I want to show you how to get that. So we must now look at how to draw the base, which is pretty simple from our previous isometric drawings. So now we have our base drawn complete. Remember, these two lines, they still have to remain light for now because we're not sure how high that will go. So once we draw this part here, then we shall know how far we can draw that dark. All right, now that this is here, I've already drawn center lines, because here also on the top view I do have center lines as to where and how I'm going to position that on that isometric drawing. However, we still need to draw this as a 2D. Just this portion here, we must draw that as a 2D. So I'm going to quickly draw this as a 2D, then put it into a box. Then we can work that box out. Now we have drawn an auxiliary view of the hexagon. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the corners of our hexagon. All right. 3y4 belongs to this angle of 60 degrees. 5x6 belongs to the side on the left hand side. Okay, then A, B, C, D, it's our box which we will use to draw this hexagon. So what we need to check quickly is AB is equal to 60 millimeters. So the midpoint there should be 30 millimeters, because we want to place this on that isometric there. Now we are given that the thickness here is 30 millimeters. So using this center line here, we're going to have 15 on the left and 15 on the right hand side, so that we place this right over there. Now we need to check the height. What is the height of BC? Now we find that the height is 52, or rather 54. So if that is 54, it means 27 is midpoint. So we're going to have that height there placed over there. So I want to quickly draw that box, then we can place all these numbers into that box. Okay, now we have our box drawn here, which is A, D, B, C. Maybe you should label that as this side is B, this side is C, that corner there is D, and this is A. Then it means that will also be D, that will also be A, therefore that top one here will also be B. We don't need to label C over there. Now that we have this, all we need to do now, we must now take the distance from A to 1. We can use our compasses. A1, it will be the same thing as B2. It will be the same thing as C4, same thing as D5. So whichever way you start with, so let's start at C. So by marking this off, 1, 2, and then that's a third one, and then this is the fourth one, right? So we can now write, this is number 2, this is number 4, this is number 5, and this is number 1. Now what we left with is number 3 and number 6. So the distance from C to number 3 should be the same as distance from B3, just like D6. So I'm using C to mark off number 3, I'm using D to mark off number 6. So this is now my 3, that's my now number 6. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to join 1 back to number 1. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 1. In that way, I'm getting my shape in the front view. Now, there we are. This is our shape on the front view. Now, all we need to do is move number 6 to the back, 1, 2, as well as 5. So now I'm going to complete that. Then we move on into the angle of 60 degrees. Now that I have this completed on the top, right? Now, if you look carefully, these two lines are not drawn dark as yet. There's a reason behind that. Here on the top view, I have a rib that I still need to draw. And this is the angle of 60 that we're talking about. Now, this is entirely up to you, whichever way you feel that you're comfortable with. There's two ways to get this. I need the distance of 4y. I will need to know the distance from 4 to y, which gives me 30 millimeters. So from 4 to y, I will get my 30 millimeters. That is option 1 that you can use. This is 30 millimeters. Now, or you could have said cy. So cy, if you look at these two here, this will be 15 and that should be 15. So if we measure cy, because c is already there, we can say how much is it? Of course it is 15 millimeters. So there's two ways. Either we use 4y or we use cy. Likewise on the left hand side, we can either use 5x or dx, whichever way we feel comfortable with. In this case, I'm going to use dx or xd in that matter. So I'm getting how much? I'm getting 15. So I'm going to use xd. So this is now how I'm getting my x. There's the x. Now I'm going to draw this side, the size here, which is 6 millimeters of this rib. On this side, I'm also going to project it on the other side because I have that point already drawn for me. That is why I'm using this center line here. So it's 3 on the left, is 3 on the right. Then I can draw the bottom part. Now let's take note. I have my rib or web done here. From there it goes to number 5. All right, because of this case at number 5, this angle here, so it needs to go in. So then I projected it, then it shows up here. This is where my 30 millimeters was. All right, so then it goes up. Remember here I have 15 millimeters as a center, like what I've done there. So it's 3 on the right hand side, it's 3 on the left hand side. Now I had to project this across to line 3 so that I get this correct. Although from here to there I don't see anything, but that will be dark. But I needed to use this side here to get that point there. That is why it's important you understand that it doesn't just go to number 3 because this is now placed at the center. All right, so now I'm going to make this dark. Now I know that from 5 to that point is going to be dark, and from there to there is going to be dark. Now the last thing that I need to do is to put in this square here, which is straightforward and simple. The size of the square is 22. We've got a center line 11, 11. Therefore this will be 11 and 11 because it's a square of 22 millimeters. Now everything now is drawn dark correctly, so there's nothing else that is confusing here. Everything is clear, and then I shall be completing this this square here, and then we're all done. So now in completion, this is the square. Because it's a through hole, as you see there is hidden details. That's why you need to see that line coming down because it's going right through to the bottom. And then this view here, which we call an auxiliary view, it can be labeled or may not be labeled. In short, is known as an aux view. This is the helping view to get everything that you need there. And then thank you for watching.